Darkstar, Hideki Matsuyama is next. He is next going to LIV. You could not draw up a better professional golf tour to play on for Hideki Matsuyama if you tried. It is the dream come true for him, and we will cover that right now. I know you have a couple of details. What do you want to throw in there?
Well, he fits into that category as the unfulfilled. He's unfulfilled personally. Quickly, he has a wife, he has a daughter. You never see them in America. He doesn't speak English. So from a personal note, America, he feels like a pariah. He absolutely, he just spends as little time as he has to. And as we discussed in multiple episodes here, if you're going to be a golfer, if you're going to be a star golfer, you're going to have to live in America. And so, yes, LIV is the perfect opportunity to escape the clutches of the PGA Tour. So he doesn't fit into he quit like DJ, he's not a disgruntled employee. It's the perfect scenario for him. I notice, are you the roving reporter today? What are we doing today?
I am the roving reporter. I have escaped the studio. I am on the road. I'm not going to say where. I don't want to give it away. We have shows coming up. But I have escaped the studio. I'm out here pounding sand, doing my job for the team, for the B team. More to come. More to come on why I'm on the road. More to come.
All right, good.
But I got to tell you, I don't know Hideki Matsuyama. I'm almost excited about the fact that how great LIV is going to be for him. And I don't even know the guy, but I almost want to go have a beer with him and celebrate because this thing is custom built for him. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking out there. Why isn't he already on LIV? If this is the greatest thing ever for Hideki, why isn't he there now? President's Cup.
Yes.
So he's there playing on the President's Cup. Today is Saturday. What day is it? Saturday, September 24th. So they're out there playing right now. This episode you're going to see on tomorrow, Sunday. So we'll drop that right into the end of President's Cup. But the President's Cup's a big deal in Japan, and Hideki's a big deal in Japan. So he stuck it out until then. Let's start with why you should care, golf fans. Why should golf fans care about Matsuyama going to LIV? Well, it's great for golf. It's great for global golf. Why is that? Because Japan is a massive golf market. They are fanatical fans of golf in Japan. And it's a big country population-wise. 120 million people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darkstar. 120, 125 million total?
In that range, yeah.
Something like that. So it's a big place. It's meaningful to the sport. We here at Thinking Man Show, and seemingly the guys at the LIV organization, do want to grow the game globally. It's important. It's very important. And if you want to do that, then Japan matters a lot, a whole lot. And Matsuyama is a golf hero there, and he's still a young guy. He's only 30 years old. He's already got a master's under his belt. He's playing good golf. He's in the top 20. His ranking now is like 17th, I want to say, in the world. Is that right?
I believe it is 17th presently, yes.
Gotcha. So he brings a big market. So when LIV gets Hideki, Hideki brings Japan. So that's great for LIV, obviously, but it's great for Japan. Now Japan's going to get a lot of what like Australia's going to get with Cam Smith. They get to be important to professional golf. Is Japan important to professional golf right today on the PGA Tour, Darkstar?
No.
It is not. No, it is not. I'm just going to keep looking at Pete.
Yeah.
No, it is not. And that's sad. It's sad. It's you could say it's too bad, but you can fix it. And LIV is going to fix that by getting Matsuyama. I'm excited for him. The Japanese team component now on LIV, that's a big deal for Japan. So not only do they get Matsuyama over there on LIV on a real professional tour, they get a Japanese team. So two to three more Japanese players.
Well,
and
possibly,
then what else is Japan going to get for sure? I mean, for sure, what are they going to get from LIV, Darkstar?
They're going to get a tournament. You're exactly right.
Will it be every year? I think Greg would love to have one there every year because of the size market it is. Australia has 25 million people. You know, it's a great place. They love their golf there, but it's a lot smaller than Japan. Japan it's like Korea. I mean, Korea is how many people? Do you have that on your fingertips? Is it 80 million in Korea? South Korea?
I will look
Something
quickly,
like that.
but
All right, you could check that. But between Japan and South Korea, massive markets, and that's another. I have my notes down here. That's another great reason for Hideki to be going over is this. And when I'm saying it's great for LIV to get Hideki in Japan, and great for Japan to be featured in such a prominent tour, because that is so the combined energy is so good. It's good for both parties. And what do we call it? So business win. Both sides are getting a huge benefit from this deal. So Japan gets what they want, LIV gets what they want. It's a great marriage, exactly what it is, nothing less than that. Who does LIV look at when they're trying to get players? Okay. Who does?
Yeah,
we talked about this with Dustin Johnson. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, so I was going to say, so South Korea has 51 million people, and it's
50?
not just Japan. He is sort of breaking the ice on that Asian Pacific Rim, which is huge for LIV. As I've mentioned a couple times, LIV is sort of the national league. LIV is going to be the international players, and Matsuyama solidifies that Asian Pacific Rim. I mean, you look at, as you briefly alluded to the President's Cup. They all are playing the President's Cup this weekend. They all wanted that one last chance, but they all wanted the recognition for that international component. Now, I don't know if any of the South Koreans will come with Hideki, but yeah, we would be shocked if there's not going to be some defections after the President's Cup, people in the Asian Pacific Rim. I mean, that is the next area that is ripe. Remember, Hideki's also only 30 years old. It seems like he's been around forever, but he and Cam Smith are about the same age. I think he's only a year older than Cam Smith. So these are the prime guys for the LIV Tour. It opens up the rest of the world, and that's the tack that Greg and the LIV is taking. They're going to solidify the rest of the world because that's what they always wanted, a true world golf tour, because golf is a world game.
Yeah, and Greg has always seen it that way, and I think it's odd, right? And I'll throw this in. It's not on my list of bullet points here, but Greg Norman and his team would not like to see the PGA Tour disappear. Isn't that odd? The PGA Tour would love for LIV to just go away entirely, just disappear, and they would be super happy about that at the PGA Tour. Oddly, the LIV Tour, they're all for the PGA Tour sticking around. Why is that? Because they see it as LIV will corner the market on global golf. The PGA Tour will continue to run the show in North America, and that makes for a great rivalry, a great, fun, great for the game rivalry, and more opportunity for the players. And Greg Norman, as a great player, I think is personally all for more opportunity in the game for more people, especially kids growing up in countries that, are not as wealthy and as large as the United States. Is that fair, Darkstar?
Well, it's fair. It's on point, especially competition. Even if very early in the whole LIV controversy, Ricky Fowler mentioned competition is good, competition is always good, and people shot him down. I was like, do I still live in America? I was not sure. Is this America? Anyway,
yeah, it's amazing.
It is truly amazing. So you're exactly right. That's a great point, by the way. You should get a cotton candy for that. Yes, LIV would love for the PGA to continue to grow, and they would love for the world of golf to grow, and the PGA has the exact opposite. Well, we're the only ones that can grow the world of golf. We're the only ones that can add tournaments in China and Saudi Arabia. You guys can't do that. It's terrible.
It's an interesting point, isn't it? But ultimately, it'll work itself out, I think, because LIV is going to succeed. And Hideki's a great reason or great example of why they're succeeding and why they probably will continue to succeed. They're going after guys who, for one reason or another, we have three reasons, right? Three categories. I'm disgruntled with the PGA, DJ. I feel unfulfilled on the PGA Tour, Hideki, Cam Smith, others. Or I see a better opportunity over on this other tour given what I want to accomplish in golf, LIV is going to help me do that. It's a better opportunity. I've had opportunity here on the PGA Tour, but it's a better opportunity over there, and I'm not going to tease who fits directly into that category, but it's a name everybody knows. Episode upcoming. And the rain is starting to fall again, Darkstar, out here. And I'm not covering the hurricane. That is not what I'm doing.
You're not a weatherman on the side? I thought you were a weather person. I thought you were a weather person on the side. I don't know if we can say weatherman. I was going to stand
outside with an umbrella, but it'd probably be less hot. That's for sure. So I'm gonna roll along. I mean, so Hideki was not in our list. We'll put the list up right now on the video. Our January list, you saw it in the DJ episode, why Dustin Johnson went to LIV. 1 was Tiger, 2 was Spieth, 3 was Rory, 4 was DeChambeau, 5 was DJ. 6 was Rahm, 7 was Justin Thomas, 8 was Brooks Koepka, 9 was Cam Smith, and 10 was Colin Morikawa.
And I don't know if we fought a little bit about Hideki. I had him up there a little bit more because of
we've mentioned him in other episodes. Back in July, we mentioned Hideki is going. We just didn't consider fully that he wanted to stick around for the President's Cup, and it was a President's Cup year. Fine, that's fine. And I hope you don't hear all the rain outside. If you're hearing some background noise, that's what it is. It's now pouring down rain.
I think we're good.
Hopefully the audio is going to hang in there. Hopefully. Matsuyama was ranked 18th in the world in January of 2022, and so he wasn't in that top 10 dream list, right? And DJ was. And at the very beginning of LIV, and what that list was speaking to were who were the major guys that Greg Norman and his team could attract onto the tour to really get this thing rolling and to get other guys to come. And Matsuyama is a phenomenal addition, but he was not going to be as big a deal as DeChambeau and DJ, obviously. So he's in that second wave that Greg is going to get. And if he had come earlier, fine. But if he comes now, also fine. Greg's looking into 2023 now and beyond, actually, to have the real product rolling. Right. This is sort of a test year.
The Dustin Johnson, I was going to say the Dustin Johnsons and the Phil Mickelsons fit the disgruntled category, but they also fit the category in they could take the risk. Phil's really obviously at the end of his career. DJ's, he's deep in the back 9 of his career. But those guys fit the category of they didn't have to worry about things. And Matsuyama at 30, he still wants to accomplish more. He really wants to potentially now with LIV is here to stay. I think that's pretty obvious. So now there's not the risk of I'm not going to have a place to play golf.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they've probably been in negotiations a while. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Let's leave it at that. So that's where Hideki was, I think, in negotiation or has been for a while. But he was going to play the President's Cup, so that's been just percolating right along in a casual way. Maybe if he was going to play better, he could have gotten a little bit higher signing bonus. If he had won a major between then and now, he would have gotten a bigger signing bonus. So he had plenty of incentive to continue to play great, to bump up his signing bonus at LIV. Let's segue right into the signing bonus, because I know people in our audience and around the world are wanting to know what we think it is. It's low. It's lower than you might otherwise suspect, in my opinion, my business opinion. Why is that? Because it's such a perfect fit. Off the top of the show, you couldn't design a better tour for Hideki Matsuyama. Let's go through that right now, and then we'll talk about the signing bonus. So what is so perfect about LIV for Hideki? So if I were the chief negotiator for LIV, the first thing that we talk about with his team is you get to live in Japan, you get to play golf in Asia, much more than you are now. You're going to have to come to America, yes, but it's going to be a lot less often than you are now. And the travel in Asia will be better. You're going to play in Australia, you're going to play in Japan, you're going to play in Thailand, you're going to have a trip to the Middle East, we're going to do a tournament in Korea, you're going to lead your own Japanese team on LIV. I mean, this is a big Japanese-centric move for you, Hideki. Because of all that, you're going to be going from rock star status in Japan, which you already have, to legend. You're going to be a legend in Japan because you are bringing a caliber of professional global golf to Japan that Japan's never had. And you're the guy that's going to do it. So money is going to fall out of the sky. Adoration is going to fall out of the sky. You are beyond a hero now in Japan.
Right.
And we want you over here on LIV in order to launch that for you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mark,
he doesn't need. I was just gonna. That was gonna be my point. He does not need to go to the LIV Tour for any financial gain, because his financial gain as a commercial product in the Asian Rim will skyrocket. The whatever they give him is going to be minuscule. I mean, Japan has always paid top dollar for top sponsors, top names. I was just, and I just recall also, it'll be very interesting after we put this out to see if he does announce, because obviously the Bangkok tournament is coming up in early October, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I see him announcing pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, yeah. I hope you're right, because it would make us both look good.
I think it'll be a respectable amount of time after the President's Cup to not, cost them face. That's a big deal. Honor, doing it right is a Japanese thing, and a global thing in business. So they're not going to announce it, tomorrow at 7:00 after the President's Cup wraps. It'll be Friday, a week, 2 weeks, a week and a half. It'll be a sufficient amount of time where it's not a disgraceful thing to do, for sure. And I bet Hideki himself probably asked for that, and Greg, I'm sure, easily agreed. No problem at all. Of course not.
Well, I could see him announcing the Monday of the event.
He might wait until then, or he might just show up in the field and do a presser.
Yeah, in fact, I just did pull it up. The event is October 7th, 8th, and 9th, so the Monday would, Monday or Tuesday, the 4th or 5th, something like that. I
could easily see them waiting all the way until then. Totally fine, 100%. But what else he gets out of LIV, which makes the signing bonus lower, is a team. He gets to be the captain of a team, which most golfers relish that opportunity to lead a team in competition. I assume that Hideki thinks that's a good thing, and it promotes his image at home, right? He's the captain of the Japanese squad on a major global golf tour.
Yeah.
Again, a big deal. So they're going to pay him enough money that honors his success so far. He's a Masters champion, which another Masters champion in Greg Norman's locker room that he gets to use for leverage with Augusta. Is this number 7 now? Because he got Bubba. I think Bubba was 6.
Yeah, Reed, Bubba,
This is 7.
Phil, DJ, Hideki.
Charles Schwartzel. It's 7. So Hideki's the 7th Master Champion, and they've all, and some of them are doubles like Phil or triples.
Yeah.
And Bubba's 2. So, I mean, it's turning into there's not going to be anybody there under the age of 75 at the Champions Dinner.
The major point to that with the doubles and things, yes, there hasn't been a recent winner.
No, not a lot. I'm sure
that's going to still be there.
Like Scotty Scheffler, obviously, but it would be an embarrassing gap to uninvite 7 of your champions, who are all still playing good golf, by the way. Phil Mickelson just won the PGA Championship last year at 51. So it's a great strategy, and I'm sure Greg is ingratiating himself to Augusta as best he can to make that work. Because if Augusta lets them all play normal, it sort of spells what the other majors kind of have to follow suit. That's another show, different day.
Yeah. And I was going to say one of the other things quickly about Matsuyama that, he's not a great worldwide ambassador. He was not somebody to put at the forefront of the LIV movement because he doesn't speak English. By the same token, being Japanese, that's a highly advanced society from a technical standpoint. And obviously, LIV Golf it's online now. You're using your computers, you're using smartphones. For those type things, I wouldn't overlook that in the rest of the world. Sometimes here in America, we are sheltered and don't realize how the rest of the world functions.
It's a good point. It gives me a chance to say that the number 1 broadband connected country in the world is South Korea. So virtually every home in South Korea has a broadband connection. And I would imagine Japan is close to that. And I think, to your point, because they live there and they probably watch global sports more than do Americans, streaming that is probably more natural for them. Although with smart TVs and YouTube and all that, that's becoming I don't see LIV really ever getting a broadcast deal, and I don't think they really need one. I really don't. Different show. That has to do with gambling, but a global market fits into that same strategy. Let me get the number out for Hideki. I think his signing bonus is somewhere between 50 and 70 million, which is a lot of money, and it's a good fit. They're going to make him a hero, and it's still enough money that it's not disrespecting his accomplishments in golf to date. But it's not 100. I don't think that. It doesn't need to be. And I think bringing a tournament to Japan, frankly, by LIV saying that, and I assume they have said it, we will do a tournament there. If we can do it every year, great. If we can do it every other year, we will. But it's going to be consistent, and it's going to be there, and you're going to be the host. That probably means more to Hideki than anything else, I would imagine. Because that alone is worth a ton of money, but I don't even think he thinks about it that way. He probably thinks about it as just a great, glorious honor to be the host of a tournament of that caliber with that many great players in his home country regularly, not a one-off, regularly, and that's a huge deal. I mean, would you agree with that, Darkstar?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Let me kind of keep moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the next little section, and then we'll kind of start to wrap up. The travel component now for Hideki, we mentioned it earlier in the show, but it's not a small thing. Jetting into the United States every single time for a month, you're going to play all these tournaments. It's probably not something that's at the tippy top of Hideki's list of things he likes doing. I mean, of course he does it. It's business travel. Fine. But any of you that have traveled for business, I'm sure there's quite a few in our audience that do that or have done that. You know, after the first year or so where it's kind of fun and it's, you're flying all over the world, it's great. Then the year 2, it's a little less great. And by the 5th year you're doing this, it's really a pain in the neck. You've been to all the great restaurants. You've done everything you wanted to do in those great foreign countries. And you sort of loses its appeal if what you're wanting to do is get back home. And all you want to do is get back home. So my sense is that Hideki at 30 years old, not 22, not 23 anymore, is probably very excited when he gets on the plane to go back to Japan and get back to his normal life, right? So his normal life is in Japan. And what the LIV sales team, if you will, is saying to him in the initial negotiations, you get to do that. You're going to be able to base yourself in Japan for stretches of time now, not just in and out, months at a time, and be able to play there in Asia, not just Japan. Much easier commute to Thailand, to South Korea, even to Australia. And then the Japanese tournament's already been a big part of the negotiation. So it was, I'm sure, a very delightful negotiation process. They probably quickly reached a consensus, and I would imagine that Hideki will be one of the most excited guys to be out there. And it leads me to my final point, really, which is I think Hideki's a phenomenally nice guy. And I think in spite of his English language skills, what they are, he probably speaks decent golf English, I should say. I think he's a very likable guy, and I think he's going to be a popular guy on LIV. We'll see. But I think a Japanese team will be very well received on LIV, and it's all going to be good. I get to say again that the Masters component is phenomenal. It's phenomenal that they have now 7 guys with Masters titles, but I'm probably going to leave it right about there. Darkstar, anything that I didn't cover, or what do you want to cover here in the parting comments?
Yeah, Hideki is a nice guy, and he will be well received on the LIV Tour if he goes, and I hope he does. The fit would be perfect. And he's going to have you're going to have, and I can't stress this enough, you see the same guys. It's like going into your office. You have a water cooler moment every day, and they enjoy the work. He's going to have, he's not going to be the only Japanese guy in a field when he comes to America most of the time. So the team dinner, the camaraderie. You can't.
Think about he gets to go around the golf course at least some of the time with his mates, speaking Japanese if he chooses to do that.
Right, and by the way, By the way, I'm kind of warming up to. I'm not ready to totally give up on the team names yet, but if they start going with the Japanese and Australian, I can go with Japan, Australia if we get enough worldwide representation. But we'll talk about that on another show.
I like you're coming my way. You're coming my way. Well, let me finish with that point. That's a great segue. Having Hideki and a Japanese team helps in another way that we haven't mentioned, and that is recruiting a Korean team, a very strong South Korean team. They have a number of good players there. Siwoo Kim and the other guy, whose name escapes me, are already doing well on the PGA Tour, but I'm sure those guys are being looked at and talked to, and it's going back and forth. But having a Japanese team on LIV makes that easier. Now we're going to be in Japan. We'll have a tournament in Korea. Now you can start to see a very easy travel schedule.
Yeah.
We go from here to there to Thailand to Australia and back. And they probably do the Middle East another time of the year because it's nice there all year round. You don't have to be so calendar dependent when you want to go to play in Saudi or any other country over there, UAE, that you might want to do a tournament. So I the Asian strategy is coming together. Together.
Yeah, you have Im and Tom Kim. And yes, that is. Hopefully, they maybe just put the names in as a filler until they can get these regional teams, and that I think then they really have something. They really have a strong future.
Well, they'll have American teams. I have a naming convention for that. The regional is one way to go. You could do players as well. You could just name the team after the captain. Some of our viewers have suggested that. I think that's a reasonable proposal. It might not have the legs that you want it to have, but you could call it the Sergio team or the Hideki team. That works. And the teams change. They change when the captains change. I could see that. It just can't be Punch or Clique.
The merchandise is already made, though. That's the only problem.
It's not a problem.
Okay.
It's just not. It's throw all that away. That's a rounding error for LIV, the way they're spending money. Come on.
All right.
Come on. Dark Star, I am going to hit the road. I'm going to back up the truck here and get back at it.
You got to get to your other weather reporting job. I understand.
I do. I have to get I got to get the hood on, and B team is out.
Dr. Darkstar is out.
That's all for this video. For Dr. Darkstar and me, thanks for watching. This is a show about finding logical conclusions, and we appreciate you coming along with us. We'll be adding episodes as fast as we can. There's certainly no shortage of things going on in this world.